I'm Patrick, and this is Brian. Together we just got played, and we just got done playing Viceroy at the Cloak and Blaster in Orlando, Florida. Brian, tell us all about Viceroy.
Sure, we'll do. Viceroy, it's a 1 to 4 player game. It takes about an hour to play. I would classify it kind of as a Euro, but it's got a fantasy theme to it. It's kind of like Splendor on steroids combined with Carcassonne in that it's a tile placement. It's an economic builder. It's got some set collection. It's got a little bit of bidding / bluffing to it. And there's a giant point salad at the end. Essentially, in Viceroy, each of the players gets some characters to choose from. They get to play one for free, and then they get to play another one in subsequent turns. Each of the players also get a number of law cards, which are kind of like rule benders or breakers and allow you to do special things that you can't otherwise do. A lot of what happens is the players are all bidding for some of the other additional characters that are laid out each turn on the board. So you'll have some of the players are going to want the same characters, and if they're all bidding for the same one, then no one gets it and everyone loses their gems. But if you're successful with your bid, then you get to take that character and you can play it later during your turn. You can play 3 different cards between your law cards and your characters, assuming you have the resources in order to do so. When you play your characters, you're trying to actually play them and arrange them in a pyramid fashion. And as you play them on certain levels of the pyramid, you get that has a greater cost associated to do that, but you also get greater rewards. Some of the rewards that you get for playing the characters include things like drawing extra law cards, getting to place infinity gems, which are like resources that you get additional every turn to help cast more characters out, get them out and going. Other things could be like things that can help you with your set collection, so it can add science, or it could add like attack icons or defense icons. Some could just be like victory points. Let's see. So those are some of the rewards. The other aspect of the card where kind of the Carcassonne element comes in is how you place them. But rather than like roads and villages that you're building, each one of the cards has like these circles. Well, they're either hemispheres or quarter-spheres on the corners. And you're trying to build the same color circles as you align your pyramids together. And you're going to get extra points for those as well during the game. So with all that, Patrick, what would you say is your favorite thing about Viceroy?
In Viceroy, one of the things you mentioned were these law cards. Now these are kind of like rule breaker cards that you put into play, and you can use them kind of like a character to help build your pyramid, but they also have special abilities. And I went through and I really liked a lot of these law cards. I think it adds a lot to the game. I don't know if it was like in the fundamental aspects of the game when they're first designing it, but whatever it took, I'm glad it's in there. It's the rule bending cards.
Okay.
The law cards. Now, if there's one thing that you really liked.
My favorite thing about Viceroy is I'd say a lot heavier than Splendor. So if you like Splendor and you think it's a great game, but you're always looking for just a little more, something a little more, Viceroy would be the game for you. There's just so many more options and planning and strategy to it. That's what I like about it. If there's one thing you didn't like about Viceroy, what would it be?
It's not married to its theme. It's got this beautiful fantasy artwork, and it's got all of these political aspects to the game in theory, but as you're building this engine and set collecting and doing all this stuff, it doesn't really feel like I'm involved with anything that's medieval fantasy or anything that's really involved with politics. And if there's one thing that you had to choose that you didn't like.
The thing that I like least about Viceroy is that it wasn't real combative. So it didn't really, it's competitive. It's a competitive game, but you still feel like you're kind of playing against yourself. And I see where they tried to bring in the other mechanics of the bidding and the bluffing, and you can try to throw wrenches in the other people's plans to build their, giant pyramid of power and score tons of victory points. However, I always find that I was more focused on what I can do to build up my side, and I wasn't really concerned about what they were doing on their board, until maybe the last round or something like that, when you're like, okay, how many points are they actually going to get? Okay, maybe I should try to throw something. But even then, I would be like, how can I gain all of my points first? So I would say the thing I like least is that there wasn't that head-to-head action, despite the theme of the fantasy, and there's commanders and colonels and warlords, and there's no combat that actually takes place. Again, Viceroy. You could check out the link below and order your copy.
I'm Patrick. This is Brian. Thank you very, very much for watching.
So, Viceroy. What do you actually know what a Viceroy is?
Yeah, I looked it up before I came here tonight.
Well, go ahead and inform us.
Us. You're the
Inform
only-
me. Go ahead and inform.
It's just somebody that's
Talking about the show.
speaks
People
on
watching
behalf.
the show.
People don't watch the credits.
They don't?
No.
That's
Viceroy
the
is
best
somebody-
part of the show because it's over.
And we don't have to watch us.
Yeah.
The Viceroy.
What kind of production is this?